I'll wake up hungover on Sunday, so I miss church. I miss my serving. And then I wake up at 2 o'clock, and I go have my noodle and watch the game. Well, I just missed my family time. Yeah. So you just gave up 2 of your commitments, which on Sunday it's family time and the Lord's time. I gave up 2 of those commitments for something that wasn't even a commitment. It wasn't even a goal of mine for 2025 to hang out with my boys on Saturday and get sloshed.
Crazy to think that all these people that are doing it, who are doing business at a high level, would take the same risk. So that's how you know that all these big hitters are willing to take this huge risk on the vision that Mark and Eddie have set out, right? And so it's like, how can it fail?
That made my respect for you grow even more, because it showed me that you were a guy that was focused on, not emotional. You thought logically. It wasn't like how I was feeling. Yeah, feeling has a lot to do with it. Can I trust this guy? Intuition, that kind of stuff.
Welcome to another episode of the Cedeno Experience. Today I have a special guest, Gabe Mendez, man.
What's
Industry
up, brother?
leader. Quick introduction, man.
Gabe Mendez, born and raised in San Diego, married, have 3 beautiful children, been in the real estate industry now for 12 years, follower of Christ, and work at Realty of America. And boys, my homie right here, dude. What's up, bro?
Man. That's right.
Yeah.
Love that, man. Love that. 12 years already, bro.
12 years, dude. Can't believe it. It's weird saying that.
How fast you started when you were 12 or what?
Dude, it feels like it, bro. Well, here's the thing. It's so weird because I've always felt like I was that up-and-coming guy. And I always carried that chip on my shoulder, like, oh, I'm a young guy in the business. Like, I'm up and coming. I'm building a name. But before you know it, like, you're the veteran. Like, you're the guy that people are looking up to. Like, dude, when I got started, I was looking at you before I got started. And so many people tell me that, like, dude, when I saw you, like, I wanted to get my license. And now they're 3, 4, 5 years in. Like, I followed you since 2015, 2017. I'm like,
insane.
I feel like it gives me, like, Theo vibes.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I'm like 8 years in, and I'm like, how do we get here?
Dude, I know, bro. It's just the everyday hustle of, like, being in the work and then occasionally picking your head up, looking around, like, okay, I'm here. But just, like, the forward vision, I guess. You get lost in the forward vision. The time just goes by so quickly.
Did you ever believe that you were going to be like a leader in this industry? Did you ever believe like, hey, I'm going to speak on those stages. I'm going to have those events. Like I'm going to do, because, you sit there and you're like, man, you're kind of just in the audience. Like, I'm just trying to sell 5 homes this year, or I'm trying to sell 10 homes. Did you ever believe that you were going to take that next step?
So I knew I had a desire to speak. I knew I had a desire to coach. I just didn't know how God was going to put it all together. Like I knew it was going to come some way. I just didn't know where it was going to happen. I just knew that I had to be ready for it. So that's the thing. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know how. But I knew the moment when it was going to come that I better be ready for it. So, dude, since 2013, I was in Toastmasters, 8 a.m. every Saturday. Check my Snapchats, check my Facebook before Instagram was around. I posted every single Saturday, who wants to join me this upcoming Saturday? Who wants to come with me to class? And very few people did it, and very few people stuck around for a little bit, but no one stuck with it for 10 or 12 years like I did. Every Saturday, not even having a moment to speak. And then it was like, finally, bro, like the moment was there. It was like lights, camera, action. Like, dude, you ready to go? You're a top producer now. Get on stage and share your message. I'm like, bro, I'm ready.
Love that.
I failed, but I was ready, dude.
But you're preparing. You're preparing without even knowing, right?
Yes, dude. Yes. And that was
awesome.
So it was always in my heart to want to be a speaker, a coach. And I feel like looking back at it now, that vision and seeing it come true is what established like the belief in myself, like be patient with the process. If I didn't see that through, it'd be very hard for me to be patient with the process. But seeing that I stayed the course, I had the passion, I had the vision, I wanted to do it, and then it happened, and it happened so big. Now my belief for long-term play is there. Now I'm okay with the 10-year vision. Now I'm okay with the 7-year vision. And saying, dude, I'm willing to wait 7 years for that. I'm willing to wait 5 more years for that because I know it's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be so great. And that's how it happened, bro.
I love that. And I love how locked in you are all the time. When I first met you, it was the first time in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to you on a panel, and it was Arjun, it was me, and then it was you. And you're sitting there like power pose. You know what I'm saying? Like you were like ready to go. And my cousin Frank was in the audience. He's looking at me like, bro, stand up straight, bro. You're sitting next to Gabe, bro. I'm all slouching over, hanging out, bro. And he literally looked at me. He's like, no, look at you. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But you're locked
cool,
in, man. And without even noticing probably that you were locked in, right?
Yeah,
like
man.
you went into that mode and you're like, man, I'm here to serve. I'm here to provide value, and then you deliver. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about how you and I met and how
funny.
we became partners in business. I never imagined that. I would see your videos and I was like, yeah, like this guy's he's at EXP and he's never gonna leave. And I was like, hey, cool, man. You like doing the dancing videos. I was like, that's dope. Couldn't be me, and it's still not, right?
Yeah.
We post that video the other day, and I'm at the end like,
I saw you just a little one of these real quick. Yeah.
Jeff's like, hey, at least you tried, bro.
Yeah,
at least Reyes didn't try at all.
Reyes didn't try at all. He was walking by smiling, dude.
He was like,
all swole, dude.
Yeah, I'm flexing, bro. But yeah, man, we met at an actual event. This is the craziest thing, right? And I'm gonna kind of just frame it, and then you can kind of take over. But I remember going to the VIP dinner, which you didn't show up to because we're speaking at this event together.
The night before, I think it was, right?
Yeah, the night before the actual event. So I told Frank, my cousin, I was like, hey, let's go up to the room, let's freshen up a little bit, let's come down. All the magic happens at the lobby of the event, right? Either the night before, night of, whatever it is, that's where the magic happens because you connect with people. First, I said that, and as we're going down the elevator, the first person I see is you, and you're on the phone. And I'm like, bro, I was like, that's Gabe Mendez. I'm like thinking like, oh shoot, like he's here. Like this is happening. We're going to be on the panel together, right? And I'm thinking that and you just gave me a knuckle, right? And I'm like, never met the guy before. I follow him for a long time. And then all of a sudden, we come and we sit with Gil, right? And then you're like, hey, man, can I get you some water? I'm like, well, this guy's giving me water? What the heck is he doing, right? Like, this guy's so awesome. And we started connecting. It's like we hit it off, man.
Yeah.
And the next day, we're on the same panel. We did it twice, and everyone thought we're in business together, right? And then you shot me this crazy idea about going to, instead of meeting my family in Reno, which we're in Sacramento, we live in SoCal, I'm going to meet my family in Reno. And you're like, hey, how about you cancel your flight? And I'm sitting there like, yeah. You're like, go fly to San Diego, meet with the owners, and then just fly back. He's like, I already checked the flights. I already did all this. Like, this is happening in real life, like at 1 a.m. after the event, right? And I was like, yeah, I think that's
on a piece of paper, on a napkin, I think it was.
yeah, on a piece of paper. You asked the bartender for a pencil, right? Yeah. And you're like drawing this out.
Literally happened this way.
Yeah, you'll be back at your family just an hour later than you expected. And I'm like, he's right. Right? So I called my assistant next morning, and I still wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. And he broke it down, and I was like, I'm there. And I booked the flight to San Diego. I flew Southwest, but I'll tell everybody else, I want to admit it was a private jet.
PJ, baby.
Yeah, private jet. I flew in, and he picked me up in an Uber Black, which is crazy. I've never been in an Uber Black before. Rolled up, and I'm like, bro, hour meeting, and I was sold. I don't know. How did you work that out in your head? Like, what went through it to just put something together so masterful to somebody like me that, like, our team closes 100 million in volume. So it's not like we're just this average agent, right? And we're nothing special, but also we're not average, right? So what went through that process, man?
I'm so glad you're asking the question, and I've never given myself time to actually think about how I thought. But as you were talking and you explained it so beautifully, I started reliving the moment. And so I'm going to tell you guys my perspective. I'm going to tell you how I went there, what my agenda was, what I was thinking. And it's exactly what he said happened is exactly what happened. So I go there, I land, and I'm going to be on this this panel with these heavy hitters on social media. And just before I get to Sacramento, about a week or so before, I see one of your videos. It's you walking down these stairs. I see the caption in the middle. And when I scroll, sometimes I'll scroll just to get my mind off things.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm scrolling to see what captures my attention. Because if it captures my attention, and I am very hard to capture my attention because I'm so focused, then I know it'll work on the majority of people. And your video stopped me dead in my tracks. For whatever the reason, dude. I'm like, you're walking down the stairs, you look powerful, you look like just you're in control, it's this badass house, your caption's perfectly written in the middle of the screen, there's all this space around the thing. I'm like, and I examined it and I broke it down. Dude, I'm probably at 100 of your views that you have on that video. And I'm like, I'm dissecting this thing to see how it's working out. And I'm looking at the whole stuff. I'm like, dude, this guy killed it. So I go to your page. About a couple of weeks before the thing. And so I'm scrolling through all your stuff. I'm like, he's consistent with his post. He's a leader. And so in my head, I already thought like, okay, this guy is killing it. He does big deals. He has a big team. And when you get to a certain level of business in production, money, success, real recognizes real. and
Yeah.
you respect the hustle. It's no longer about hating on the person. It's about, I know what it took for you to get there, and I don't think I'm better than you. I want to learn what you did and want to hear your story. Because like 99% of the time, there's friction in their growth. Like you have to grow.
For sure.
So it's either like mentally, spiritually. So when I saw you, I'm like, dude. And that's when I saw it, when I first saw it, I just felt like we were boys, dude. I was like, dude.
It's crazy.
I mean, we just connected. We looked at each other, gave each other a little nod.
That's
like
it.
like we had seen like a little nod. We had seen each other before, but that was our first time ever seeing each other. But it was because I respected what you had built. And I saw you in my head. I'm like, dude, this guy's a player. I know it. I know it wasn't easy. He makes it look easy, but I'm walking the path. I know what it takes. So I had automatically had this respect for you. And then when it came down to like going with it, there was no agenda behind it. But as we started spending more time throughout the day together, I started feeling more comfortable around you. I'm like, I like this guy. Do you like the way he vibes? Oh, dude, this is what stole my heart. Was it's a little weird, but you stole my heart on this. Was at dinner. Do you remember what happened? The first thing you did when we sat down before food came out?
Pray.
You prayed.
Yeah.
I'm always the guy that says, "Hey, can we pray first?" At every sitting that we go to. And so if you ask like Monica Singer and Lester and all that stuff, like before they start eating, they'll look at me like, "Yo, what's up? Do we doing this?"
Yeah.
And so I had to pray for everybody. But you took my opportunity, and I felt bad because I was eating my fries before the entree came out, and you had prayed before me, and I was going to pray before the entree. I'm like, oh. I had a conviction in my spirit, bro. I'm like, oh, this guy took my prayer, man. But when you did that, I was like, dude, that's solid character, man. Good people. So day continues on. We're done with the event. We're spending a bunch of time together. And in the moment, I had like this visual crossroad in my head. And it was like we were getting ready to wrap up the day. Where's it going to head? And I remember I was talking to your cousin Frank at the party, the after party. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? He starts talking about the vision of the company, where he wants to go. I'm like, dude, I'm getting ready to do this. He's like, bro, I like your idea. You should pitch it to my cousin. Talk to him. I'm like, you sure? He's like, bro, talk to my cousin about it.
Yeah.
So I pray. I'm like, yo, Lord, let me speak from the heart. Don't let me say anything that's false. Don't let me try to sell him. Let me speak from the heart. So at the right time, at the right moment, I start letting the Spirit take over. Dude, I'm like, just let it flow, let it come out. So we sit down, and this is where the whole pitch and the conversation starts to happen. I'm like, all right, you know what? This is the crossroad. Either A, I'm going to shoot the shot, and I'm going to speak from the heart, let you know what's happening, and it happens, or it doesn't, or B, I don't, and we never find out what could have been.
Yeah.
So I sit down, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to tell it how it was. Bro, this is what's going on. This is who I met. This is the trajectory we're path, the momentum we're building. This is how I see it playing out. You started throwing your objections, dude, but this, that, and the other. I'm like, bro, no. Had the cell phone out, had the app already going. And I'm trying to remove all obstacles from it to see if it's even possible.
Yeah.
And I'm like working the plan out in front of you, reverse engineering. You got to be here.
It's masterful.
Pick up the time from the airport, come here, meet for an hour, get back over there. While I'm texting Mark and Eddie on standby, like, hey, dude, I got this guy ready to rock and roll. Take my word, you need to make yourself available. So they blocked out that time, not even knowing if you were going to show up. So I had my word on everything, like, dude, just take my word on it. But I just shot my shot, dude, and from my heart spoke to you about it. And I came from a place of real authenticity.
Yeah.
Now, if you ate it and you took it, that was on you. But I can only do my part, which was tell you what it was, handle the objections, remove all the obstacles from the thing, make it as easy for you to say yes as possible, and make sure part 2 was ready to go. And whether you moved on it or not was on you, but I knew I shot my shot the best that I could.
Love that.
And dude, when you said, let's go, I was like, oh crap, he's gonna do it. I was like, let's go.
Bro. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Like never. It was
And the fact that you
thing.
did it on the spot, I was like, dude, I can't believe he's gonna do it. But that made my respect for you grow even more, because it showed me that you were a guy that was focused on, not emotional. You thought logically. It wasn't like how I was feeling. Yeah, feeling has a lot to do with it. Sure. Can I trust this guy? Intuition, that kind of stuff. But you also listen to it logically. Like, hey, what he's saying makes sense, and who it's coming from also makes sense.
Yeah. And
I think that's a big portion too, where I want to talk to you guys in the audience, is about reputation. Branding and reputation they go hand in hand. Your reputation is what people think about you before they even heard anything, before they even get a chance to meet you. So what do people have to think about you? And I want to make sure that when I meet someone of this caliber, $100 million team, that my reputation supersedes me. that it's going to carry weight, that it gets me in the door, because your reputation will get you into doors that money, clout, influence cannot.
That's right.
Your reputation will. It'll get people to jump on a private jet from Sacramento down to San Diego on a 1 hour's notice and head out and make life-changing decisions.
Yeah.
So my reputation carried me in that opportunity. So if you guys are out there, start carefully crafting what you want people to think about you, or how you want to be perceived, or who you want to become. Don't do it just to mislead people, but do it to be intentionally a good person. But listen, nothing will get you further in this life than having an amazing reputation. It'll open doors, and then the reputation will open the door. What you know will determine how long you stay in that door after that. So you got to work on those two things simultaneously. But I knew my talk because I walked the walk every single day. I sell houses. I build a team. I came from EXP, a 225-person downline, so I knew the hustle. So I knew what I was talking about. Plus, the reputation was already there. And that's where we ended up, dude.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Just kind of seeing, it was like the whole day was like kind of looking back at it. It was like a master class on not doing it because you wanted something out of me, but doing it because that's who you are, right? And serving us. Like, it was like when you had walked away, I'm like, man, maybe I should get him a water because he got me a water last night, right? Like, and I'm thinking about all this like little stuff that was done, right? And you're spot on with the reputation. That was what I didn't know of you, and I probably had a different perception of who you were. Like, you know, it could have been like, hey, this guy is a pretty boy, right? Like he does these funny videos. And then I meet you in person. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is freaking locked in. Like, that's all. I just called Jeff and I was like, bro, this guy's locked in. Like, we got to go to this meeting. So you convinced me without like really having to convince me, but by the way you carried yourself. And that's what got me to pay out of my own money to book a flight to meet people I don't even know about. Right? Like, I had no idea who Eddie Garcia was. I don't know who Mark Demas was. Right, we had no reason to leave Real Brokerage, like zero. I left 6 figures of unvested stock at this brokerage, and it was because you cared, you listened, and then you delivered when the time was right. Like you took that approach, man.
You said something a moment ago, which was the heart to serve. So it's interesting that you remember the detail about the water. So I learned this from my church, my pastor, my leadership at church, and the church is all about serving other people. So it's about saying yes first. If you're a leader, you're really a servant first. You know, like the word says, right? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Jesus got on his feet, started cleaning the feet of his disciples.
That's right.
So they've taught me how to think differently. When I thought leadership was, I'm the guy at the top, so you should serve me. That was my initial thinking. But because of the church, I started shifting it. And being in a leadership position, I remember serving speakers at events at church. I remember being the last one, making sure the floors, they have a saying at church, which is leave everything better than you found it. So it's picking up the trash on the floor. It's wiping down the countertops. It's offering water. It's let me get a chair for you. So when I met you, someone that I respected, just instinctively was, let me serve this guy.
Yeah.
You know, let me get him a water. Let me get him something. Let me help make sure he's comfortable and he feels good. Not out of I want something, not out of I feel better than you or whatever it is, or a mind trick game. It was literally just because I wanted to serve you, make sure that you were comfortable and you were good, and then whatever happened there after happened. And that was actually, I think, on the first night, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first night.
Yeah, so that was even before the relationship was even established.
Yeah, we're like 15 minutes into the knothead.
15 minutes into the knothead, dude.
Yeah.
And that was for that reason only. But again, I hope you guys are understanding the importance of these little things that happen, because he and I never had an opportunity to talk about this. But being a servant-driven leader, making sure that people are taken care of, shifted his heart in that moment. Then the reputation is what proceeded and carried on. And then being sharp as attack, knowing what I wanted to talk about, is what got him over that hump. And then we ended up being over here. But same like you, bro. I was at EXP for 2 years with zero intention of wanting to move over to Realty of America. But when I met these heavy hitters that were here, bro, when you see a vision that big and you see who's behind the vision and you can see yourself fitting in that vision and growing with it, as long as you can remove all the noise, the feeling, the head thinking, the enemy taking you out of the element, and you can really see it, bro, it's like, what do you do?
Makes sense, man.
Like, you just got to jump on the opportunity.
Yeah.
You left 6 figures. I left just under 6 figures of invested stock. We left about 180 agents stayed behind that didn't come over, bro. Didn't come over. $12,000 to $14,000 on average for our revenue share. Left it all behind. Went 2-3 months over here without revenue share, all off of a vision, who was behind it and who I was going to be partnered up with.
Yeah.
And I mean, where we're at now, dude, is incredible.
It's crazy to think that all these people that are doing it, who are doing business at a high level, would take the same risk. So that's how you know that all these big hitters are willing to take this huge risk on the vision that Mark and Eddie have set out, right? And so it's like, how can it fail?
Exactly.
Right? And not only, so part of the reason when I was at EXP, and part of the reason we left is I was getting 900 leads per month. And I went up to leadership and I was like, hey, I need help with this issue. Like, this is a real issue. We're getting a lot of leads. Like, nobody's doing this organically. Help me. And they're like, oh, well, how about you just recruit more agents? And I was like, I don't want to recruit agents. I want to close deals. Mm-hmm. So what we shifted that we shifted that here at Realty of America, where it's like, hey, let's lead by transactions, right? Mm-hmm. Let's lead by doing business. Mm-hmm. Let's lead by actually changing lives, not just trying to recruit people. Mm-hmm. We want to attract people who want to do well in business. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the biggest thing I seen. I'm like, yeah, like, okay, 3,200 transactions in a year. Like, how can I get there, right? The San Diego team doing 300 million. How do I get there? I need to get there ASAP, right? So how do we do this? You got to get around the right people.
Dude, I want to touch on that word really quickly because it gets thrown around so loosely, which is the attraction aspect of it. I know we hear so many cloud-based brokerages talking about it, but let me tell you what I think that means. It means doing what you're supposed to do as a leader, producing, building, growing the team, selling real estate, because that's what we do. Selling at a high level, and then someone looks at you and says, I like this guy's value. I like what he's about. I see his business. I see his success. I want to latch myself onto someone like this and grow in business with him. That's attraction. Yep. And where I was at with EXP, it was strictly recruiting. Like, make the outbound phone calls, tell them about the opportunities and do that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I just want to sell real estate. I want to learn how to take $2 million listings. I want to go from $2 to $10 million listings. I want to take 2 listings a month instead of having to sell 5 $500,000 listings, you know? How do I increase that? How do I get my team out of the rut? And whenever I go to my upline, in respect to all of them, and they help me in so many ways with the recruiting aspect of the business. But when it came to production, the answers weren't there. Right. And that's when I was like, fudge, man, like, what can I do? How can I grow in production? How am I supposed to help my team that's betting on me, saying, I'm following you, Gabe. Where are we going? What's the play? How can I look at them in the eyes and say, we're at the right place, when I knew in my heart we weren't at the right place? Yeah. When I saw people like Claudia, Mo, Chuck, Max, here in my backyard, ranked number 3 overall at Rio, number 1 on the West Coast, their level of production. When I saw Mark and Eddie, who built what they built, still to this day running their independent until they merged with ROA, independently coming together, I'm like, there's only so many number 1 guys who ever existed. He was one of those guys. So to be able to get to 3,200 transactions, your systems have to be on point.
Dialed.
Processes have to be on point. Your team has to be militant, knowing exactly what to do, all the fluff cut off. And he got it down to where, like, it was thin. There was like no fat left. I mean, there's no fat. And he's taken home, I think he said his profit margins were pretty big, and that's his number to talk about. But to be able to take home that much off of what he was operating, you have to be latching on to people like that.
That's it.
Who can raise your bottom line. And I looked at my team and I said, look, there's this opportunity. I need you guys to trust me. Every one of them said, we're in. Let's rock and roll. And they all signed. They all moved over. The downline, unfortunately, that didn't happen with them, but that was okay. Yep. And, I mean, to be partnered up with people like you guys, bro, it's just been, I don't know, just the ride's been incredible, to say the least.
It's been an insane lineup. You think about you guys here with the San Diego team, you here in this area, and then we got us in the Inland Empire, and then you got Monica in LA, and then we if we line up all these people together, man, it's just like, how can we fail, right? And then we're actually teaching people how to be tactical in their business. It's not just like, and I know you love doing fun videos, and I love it, but it's not just about fun videos. It's about how do we get business.
I do very rare fun videos. He's making me seem like I do a couple of
no, bro. Videos. This guy
I do a couple of fun videos.
No, that one you guys did with your family and at the house, those were awesome. Yeah. I could never, right? Like, for me, I'm like, man.
Because I come from a background of like YouTube, right? So our YouTube channel blew up, and it got to like 70-something thousand subscribers off of us doing like pranks and stuff. And a lot of our client database grew with us because of that. So they want to see like that section of us. And there's a big portion of the newer audience who doesn't know that part about who we are, but there's a large part of our clients who still know us as the Mendez Squad. So I have to like
crazy.
every now and then I have to cater to them and do a little family
dope,
video,
man.
little family stuff like
and
that.
I love it because you're doing both. There's other people, and I don't say any names. All I do is fun videos.
Yeah, you can't.
And it's like, I talked to a lady yesterday, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna say her name, but I was like, hey, you either want to get business from your social media or you want to do fun videos. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, this is not me. I'm like, okay, this is easy.
Yeah.
Right. This is
Dude, you know what hurts me even more is the agents who do videos that talk down or bad about their consumers. It's like it's like saying something like I remember seeing this one agent's video. She's like in a different state, and she was like, the moment I leave my client's open house or something like that, and like she throws the papers in the air and she says like a curse word or something. It's like a voiceover. So she did like the voiceover thing. It was like an audio clip of something else, but she throws the papers in the air. She's like, F this crap, whatever, something like that. After my client's open house. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's a good way not to get business.
Could you imagine your seller after hiring you walking out of their home and watching their agent represent the product in that fashion, having their agent walk out and say, F this thing right here? It's like, what kind of message are you trying to portray? Like, who are you trying to attract? Like, if you want to make other agents like you and comment, like that's the right stuff to do. But if you want to attract business, you have to be way more strategic about how you're posting your stuff, way more strategic about how you're portraying your business, who you are, the product you're representing, all the above. And you guys do a phenomenal job, dude.
Yeah, that's why I had to separate both of them. One is like an agent one, one's a consumer one. Now, I don't suggest this because it's the hardest thing you can do. And if you do it, you gotta have to have a team. But choose one. Choose one and really hit it hard on that one. But yeah, man, I know we talked a lot about Roa and all that, but I want to talk a little bit more about like you. How do you, like, you're a top producer, you're attracting all these top agents, you have a wife, you have a newborn, right? Like, our babies are not that far apart. It's crazy.
Yeah. 3
kids, and how do you do it all, man? You serve the Lord. Is like, how do you kind of just put it all together if somebody's like, man, this is way too much?
Easy answer is know what you want and cut off the rest. It's literally it. If you know what you want, it makes creating your calendar, your priorities, the simplest thing in the world. And you don't give it up for anything. Too many people say yes to too much, or they don't commit to what they say yes to. I said yes to it, but I'm not committing to my commitments. So I'll go out on Saturday night with the boys. I'll wake up hungover on Sunday, so I miss church. I miss my serving. And then I wake up at 2 o'clock, and I go have menudo and watch the game. Well, I just missed my family time. Yeah. So you just gave up 2 of your commitments, which on Sunday it's family time and the Lord's time. I gave up 2 of those commitments for something that wasn't even a commitment. It wasn't even a goal of mine for 2025 to hang out with my boys on Saturday and get sloshed. So every year at the end of the year, the last quarter, I get very dialed in on what it is that I want to do. Who do I want to become?
Yep.
What do I want my body to look like, my finances to look like, my life to look like? We design, with God's favor, design whatever the vision is he has for our life. And remember, he's the one who gives us the vision of what he wants us to do.
Amen.
So, there was a lot of times where I battled with who I thought I was supposed to be. And then my pastor had to release me. Gabe, you were given these talents for a specific reason. Yep. Your ministry, this is my pastor, your ministry is the marketplace. Go out there, earn a ton of income, and they prophesied this over me. One day you're going to buy a church building for the church. And literally that has never left my mind. So shout out to Pastor Melissa Higginbottoms for releasing me. Thank you for doing that. But they released me for that. But anyways, you have to have that clear vision, bro, of what it is that you want to do, and everything else tells us to be no. So
it doesn't matter.
Faith, number 1, it's the number 1 for me. So wake up, pray, do my devotional, all that stuff. Number 2 is my fitness, because I got to take care of me. So I got to work out, eat clean. I got to make sure that I feel good, because if I feel good, I produce more, which trickles into my business, which is number 4. Number 3 is my family, though. So number 1 is my faith, me and God. Number 2 is me. I got to be right. And then number 3 is my family. Me and my wife first, and then me and the kids, and then all of us as a unit. Sure. And then number 4 is our business after that. And number five is fun. I got to incorporate some fun in my life. So am I creating funny videos? Am I vacationing a little bit? Like, what am I doing? But if it doesn't fall in those categories, bro, I'm telling you right now, I just don't do it. That's right. So I take those 5 goals and I break them down in my calendar. 6 days a week, what does it look like? When am I giving to the Lord? When am I giving to my body? When am I giving to my family and my wife? When am I having fun? And when am I doing my business? And business is probably 70% of my calendar throughout the week.
Sure.
Because it allows me to do the things at church. It allows me to do the things with my family, my wife, and everything else. So make it very simple. If you know what you want and you commit to those items, you add them to your calendar and you stick to the calendar, the life you will live will become free. This is the best way I can put it. If you want freedom, become disciplined.
Yep. That's it. That's a mic drop, man. Dude, it's it. Like, people think it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like, people think it's hard, and it's just like, no, I got my priorities.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to somebody, I always tell them, like, hey, I don't do anything outside besides work and spend time with my family and serve the Lord.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta work on the health a little bit more. And I was
you
talking
look
to
good, bro. You look good, man.
This is God given, brother.
Hey,
you know
you
what I'm
good,
saying?
baby. My boy look good over here, man.
Like I told Lester, I was like, hey, bro, no matter how much weight I gain, this is God given, man. You know what I'm saying? my boy Lester, you gotta look that good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just kidding. Don't tell him I said. We'll cut that part out. No, I'm kidding, man.
Shout out to Lester.
Yeah, no, that guy's a G. He'll tell you how it is.
He's good people, man. Keeps it real.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. I love that.
That's
awesome,
it,
man.
That's it, dude. You know, and then execution of the business and just making sure that I like committing to my commitments because it gives me the freedom to do what I want. And at business, when I'm here, I'm all in. I don't do distractions. You know, I don't go to the happy hours. I don't go to the mixers. I don't do those things. Yeah, Mark Demas was joking when he said this. He said broke agents go to brokers opens, but he said it to paint a picture, which was you should be doing money making activities, prospecting, lead generating, following up, going on appointments. That's it. That's our job description as real estate agents. And then if you have an urge to go out there and do some fun stuff like speaking on stage, like for me, that's fun, dude. I love going to Sacramento, speaking on a panel with, and meeting cool people like you. To me, it fills my cup.
For sure.
But too many people get diluted with everything else. So just get tactical, bro. Get dialed in. And if you're not that person, get around people who are. They're at that level. And that's the fastest way you can elevate. It'll be painful. It'll be uncomfortable. If you allow the people to hold you accountable, it will be extremely uncomfortable to have someone tell you who's a peer, hey, bro, you're not showing up the way you said you were going to show up. You're not committing the way you said you were going to commit. You're not holding your end of the bargain. Bro, with Zabi, dude, we have to have those knuckleheaded conversations. He's an alpha male. He sold his staging company to be under my leadership with real estate. So imagine having someone who did an exit on a successful staging company go under my leadership, being told what to do, when to do it, and being held accountable. Bro, you can imagine the sparks that have flown between the both of us, dude. For sure. But he's humble enough to know that he's wrong when he's wrong. And I'm also wise enough to know how to speak to him. That's right. So I don't talk to him the same exact way. But the goal is get around people who are the way. And they're just by a law of association, you will elevate to that level just by being around those people who are like that. So
yeah, and I've never been part of a company, man, where leadership takes time to really invest in you. Yeah. Like in our last brokerage, we sold over 200 homes. Again, never got a phone call, right? We never got a phone call like, hey, how can we support you? Here, I remember sitting down. I remember looking at the Zoom camera, and Gabe was on it, Claudia, Max was on it, and like I don't know who these people are, and I just remember pointing my little chubby finger, and I was like, I'm gonna hold every single one of you guys accountable.
He said that.
He
literally said that.
Yeah, for what you guys are telling me right now. Like if you guys need to, and they have delivered every single time, and now I'm looking at myself like, I gotta hold my end of the bargain and do my part, right? Like, and it's like it's crazy. Like I hit up. I was talking about Dallas, right, with you earlier. Like I'm gonna go to Dallas. I hit up Victor Nino and Diego, not in the same line at all, same company, not same line. And they're like, I'm gonna get you lined up with Chad Smith. I don't know who Chad Smith is. I just know he's a big dog. And next thing you know, we're gonna have an event in Dallas with 4 speakers. I'm like the keynote speaker there, I guess, and all because they're holding their end of the bargain at Realty of America. And we're coming to help each other grow. And every time I come to Gabe, I need something, it's like, it's done, right?
And vice versa, man. Yeah. Honestly, we had the event at the Brokers Open. But hey, listen, it was a $1.5 million listing, $1.425 million listing, okay?
And we did some cool dance moves too.
Dude, we did some cool dance moves, but I needed help. I need someone to attract and bring people in so they can see my thing. I called up Rob, I'm like, bro, can you and your team come by and do a training at my Brokers Open and just kill it? He's like, when? I told him the date, the time. He's like, we'll be there. Didn't have to follow up. Didn't have to do nothing like that. I'm like, this is I get to call this guy my friend and business partner.
It's crazy.
And he came through to San Diego. I'm like, bro, like, what do you guys need? Pancakes? You want mimosas? He's like, no, just give me the mic. I'm good. I'm like, all right, bro, here you go. He's like, give me the raw footage too. I'm like, camera guy, give me the raw footage.
Yeah.
My guy's like, all right, sure. Here you go.
He tricked me. He's like, these are protein pancakes. I was like, oh man, trying to be good. I was like, oh man. I had like 3 of those suckers, bro. Just tearing them all down. But now, man, I really appreciate you taking the time, brother, and in investing in other realtors, man, because that's what you do well. And last question for you. If you had to go back to any age, it could be any age. It could be 5, it could be 10, 13, 15, 20. And you can give yourself one piece of advice. Nothing's going to change in your life, in your world, but give yourself one piece of advice. What age would it be, and what advice would that be?
I'm happy with how everything turned out, brother. If I'm being honest with you.
No, nothing's going to change. Yeah, nothing's going to change.
But if I went back in time and I told myself something, I know you said nothing's going to change, right? But if I went back in time and I told myself something, there's a possibility that it could shift the way that I thought at that moment and shift the trajectory.
Yeah.
So I'm happy the way things played out.
Love it.
I'm happy with the struggle. I'm happy with being broke, parents getting divorced when they did, coming of age, finding the Lord when I did, finding my wife when I did. I'm happy. So the only advice I would say is find the Lord sooner. Yeah. And everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, man. Love that. Yeah, that's huge, man. Because that's we're living testimony of it, right? Of what God has done in our lives and how we carry ourselves and how do we lead our families, right? Like we have to be those leaders as men, right? And there's not enough men out there who are leading the right way. They think they are.
Can I ask you that question before we wrap up? That's my last question to you.
What is it?
What advice do you have for men out there on how to become better husbands, fathers, and men?
Yeah, man. I think it starts with the home, right? Like it starts at home, serving the Lord. We could go and show up on a Sunday and serve and be a greeter and be an usher and all that. But the real serving is at home, right? Mm-hmm. How do you speak to your wife? Yeah. I never disrespect my wife, right? I don't ever tell her, oh, shut up. Like, I don't mess around like that with her, right? I talk to her in a way that, hey, how would the Lord want me to talk to her? Mm-hmm. And that's how I treat her. Because she's, besides giving myself to God, she's the best thing that has happened to me, right? Mm-hmm. And so being able to lead at home, there's not enough people who are leading. They want the respect without sharing the love, right? With their spouse, with their kids, and they just expect all this stuff like, hey, give me. And it's like, no, you got to give. Mm-hmm. You got to give, and you got to continue to give of yourself every time. And that's a struggle for me, right? Like I'm naturally a selfish guy. I am. And too many of us are selfish. We walk out on our families. Mm-hmm. We choose alcohol. We choose drugs. We choose women, right? For 2 minutes of pleasure, right? Whatever it may be. And choose the Lord and choose our family, right? So
last thing is this. Your wife is a direct reflection of your husbandry. And that comes from my friend, Chris Aguilar. So if you want to check the temperature on how your relationship is doing, let's see how your wife is, and that's a direct reflection of your husbandry.
Love that, man.
Ministry starts at home first.
Appreciate you guys. Well, we'll finish off with that, man.
Yeah.
Love it, brother. SoCal Cedeno, out.